Good evening, everybody. Sorry for being a couple minutes late here. Trying to get everything over onto one screen. All right, we haven't had a real hard pullback, but if we observe the obvious is that we've hit the top of the trend channel and we've got the bottom of a trend channel. And the bottom of the trend channel could be equated to where the 200-day moving average might be a bottom as well as the trend channel. So if the Dow doesn't show some strength here and show that it's doing a J-hook this time to get out through this trend channel, it means there's still going to be a good while out to the downside. Now, that's not being confirmed just yet with the fact that we have the NASDAQ hasn't been able to get back below the T-line yet. Now, it's getting a little bit waffly up here, but what we need to see is if this market is starting to sell off, we definitely need to see that there's confirmation in the NASDAQ as well as the Dow that the sellers are taking control. And the S&P 500 closed just a little bit below the T-line today, which means they could be bringing it back down to the 50-day moving average. So we might still be in a sluggish, sloppy market to the downside, but I use the term sluggish and sloppy in that it's not like everybody's bailing out of this market. There's selling going on, but there's a lot of shifting going on. All right, let's take a look at some of the commodities. Looks like the crude oil prices, which had an uptrending channel, has broken that, staying below the T-line. It could still be selling off some more. And interest rates appear to be back up or the bond prices heading back up, interest rates heading back down. And what else do we have? Gold. Gold is I wouldn't be trading gold right now because I wouldn't know which way it would be going. Let's see. Dates are not showing up. All right, let's see what I've got going on here. Let's see. We get way more screen than what we should. Let me do this real quick. Okay. All right. Better now? All right. All right. So we got gold that's kind of waffling here, not heading in any upward direction. Looks like it's broken this downward trend channel. And silver, probably the same scenario. Yeah, still, but it's might be hovering right here on the 50. We get a doji today in silver, which makes it very convenient. We know which way they're going to move it based upon how they open it tomorrow. Let's see, gold, silver, dollar, still kind of in a downtrend, not moving back up, staying below the T-line. Japanese yen, that's pretty boring. Doesn't really know which way it wants to move. And the euro starting to back off a little bit, probably coming back down to the T-line. December 13th. Oh, that's the settlement. This one's the settlement for that month. Okay, let's see if there's anything else out there interesting. Cocoa, the December contract still in an uptrend, as long as it stays above the T-line. And sugar looks like it's trying to do a little J-hook pattern, which means if it pops up through this level, good prospect of heading up to the 200-day moving average. Natural gas getting hit a little bit, failed again at the 200, and at this level, got to see whether it holds on to the 50 or not. Let's see. Been trading the live cattle. They've been moving up. Feeder cattle hasn't been moving very much. It's kind of stuck in this wedge. And then lean hogs. Let's take a look at December lean hogs. Yeah, they popped down and broke down through the T-line, but notice that they're holding right here at the 20. So it'll be important to see if they come back up to the T-line and sell off. Essentially the same thing as what the Octobers are doing. All right, let me see if there's anything else. The dollar, soybeans still in a tough downtrend. Probably at least heading for the 50 to see if it's going to support there. Let's see, the Russell at somewhat the same chart as the NASDAQ, where they came down and tested the T-line today, but closed right back up again, or up to the 3T, which shows some good support. However, remember, if they open this lower tomorrow, there's your doji sandwich to the downside starting. That means there's probably going to be some more downside. Meaning, if you see a doji sandwich, does a doji sandwich tomorrow, we're going to see some more downside after that. All right, just a few that we've been working with that have been acting well. Facebook. All you can do with one of these is just stay long as it doesn't close back below the T-line. Now, CLDX is one that has had a nice J-hook pattern, which told us when they broke out through here, they were going higher. Today, they had a nice big day. It looks like it's starting to get up into the exuberance area. You had a doji sandwich, so it makes it, and you're up in the exuberant area of the big candles. This is where you start watching to take some profits. KNDI also set up kind of a doji sandwich today. Coming out of the fry pan bottom, J-hook. All you can do with this one is stay long until you see a sell signal. And EPL has not, it's not the right EPL, has not been able to close back below the T-line. Now they've broken out here. This tells me that we're now in our next leg to the upside. And I can't remember which one it was. Now, the reason what I always say, wait to see how it closes, is because we're going to get plenty that do backing and filling during the day, like we saw in Q today, where it looked ugly. But it didn't close back below the T-line. If it closed down here, that would have been a different story. But when it was sitting down here looking ugly, you still had to sit there and wait to see how it closed because we're still in an uptrend. This could have been the signal to tell us the uptrend was over, but it has to be there at the end of the day. So anyways, this put out a recommendation today on USU. Actually, I think we put out the recommendation on Friday if it closed above the T-line. But notice what it did. Kind of a little mini doji sandwich, which, remember, there's still kind of a unwritten rule that if this is the first candle, this candle should be equivalent. And when it's not equivalent, that usually means the second day it will move up to where these 2 days combined will be the equivalent of this day. If it does that, obviously it's broken out through this downtrending channel. It's broken through the stayed above the T line, broken through the 200. You got to expect good upside for this one. And when I say good upside, anytime you see a good-looking chart, doesn't necessarily mean it's worth investing in. So if you can come over here and say, all right, if this moves up to my next major resistance level, let's say the 50, is that worthwhile? Well, if it goes from wherever this is, 1132 to 1470 or so, yeah, that's a decent rate of return. And if this really gets moving to where it kind of comes back up into this area, that gets you up to where you're getting pretty close to a 50, 60, 70% return. Yes, Lori, there are orders that says close out this position if it closes below X. Okay, and we've been staying with FENG because it's been having nice rounding bottoms, and there's that doji gap up now through the resistance. Tells me today also it looked ugly. But until they close below the T line, you have to stay with it. In this case, it came right back up again. Lori, sometimes you are going to get stopped out. But if it opens higher tomorrow, there's only one thing to do. It tells you what the chart is still doing, moving in the right direction. All right, so you got stopped out, but you get back in. This is, again, this was one of the hardest lessons I had to learn was if I got stopped out of something and the chart continued back up, that didn't say, well, this was a bad trade. It was just a trade that I got stopped out when it was time to be out of the position. And then there's times to be right back in the position. Yes, and that's another thing, too. I take it, Lori, you can't sit and watch it all day. But for those of you that can, if you see it trading right down here on the T-line and it's not moving anymore, that's where you can go to your, I don't know which. Oops, that's a 60-minute. I don't want that. So where you can go to your 10-minute chart. Say, whoops, it hit down here, was trading, bounced off the T-line. Well, I'm going to keep buying it, or I want to buy it as long as I see that it's moving up off the T-line and my 10-minute chart is trading positive. Okay, all right. All right, so let's see, DYAX, we're kind of going through the ones that we're still holding on to, and the reasons we're holding on to them is if you look at this chart, this is where you kind of just observe the obvious. The obvious is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Wave 3 started with a J-hook pattern. You stay long until you see a sell signal. Remember, these patterns are the result of seeing human nature trade the same way year after year, decade after decade, century after century. Human nature stays the same all the time. Here's another example. When they break through this downtrending channel and they stay above the T-line, you stay with it. Now, notice this is your best friend right here. When you see a doji gap up, especially off a major support level or a support level, you want to be buying. That tells you after indecision, they've told you what their decision is. After indecision, they've told you what their decision is. Right now, I would anticipate on this one, you could be looking at a wave 1, wave 2, and as long as it keeps moving up steadily, you just hang on to it as long as it doesn't show a severe sell signal. Let's see, a few others that look good right now. DGAZ. Let's make this a little bit bigger. There's your dojis. There's your gap up. Just closed above the 20. downtrending channels being broken. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. And YPF. This is, again, why you want to stay with these until they close below the T-line. This type of chart right here is what you're kind of anticipating or looking for. Is this big breakout to the upside. This is what we're kind of anticipating, is this breakout to the upside. Where do most people buy? They start buying exuberantly at the top. Yes. Mura. This one, all you need to do is see a sell signal. Why? Because you sure as heck wouldn't want to see it do a sell signal and a close back below the T-line. That's a good fur piece away. Right now, we know the elements of when people start, or when a price gets near a top, and that's exuberant buying. Also, what's a gap up in the overbought condition tell us? That tells us there's exuberant buying coming in. And a big candle in the overbought condition, that tells us exuberance buying is coming in. So this is very simple. If this opens higher tomorrow, especially gaps up, I'm setting my stop right here immediately because I don't want to see it open and start coming back down because I've already got the warning that we might be in an overbought condition with that gap up in the overbought area. And we're this far away from not only the T-line, but the 3T line. So it's a very simple rule of thumb. The further away you move from the T-line, the higher the probability it's going to come back and test it, which means the further away you move from the 3T line, the higher the probability they're going to come back and test it. So this is a case where we don't wait for it to close below the T-line. If it was hugging the T-line like this, yes, now you'd say, all right, I would need to see a sell signal and a close below the T-line. Up here, I'm just looking for a sell signal because I already know I'm too far away from the T-line I know if I see a sell signal up here, I can already anticipate a reversal back to the T-line. I hope that cleared it up. RLD, this is a nice little cradle pattern setting up right here. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading, breaking this downtrending channel. That makes this the next target up here, which would be a decent 27-30% return. Would you close half the position on the opening? If it gapped up, yes, I would be closing out half the position. Because now you're a heck of a long ways away from the T-line. Then, the other half of the position, I'd put a sell stop right where it closed the day before. If it gapped up here, I'm closing it out immediately. And then if it came back down to this area after gapping up in the overbought condition, that's a pretty good indication the sellers are going to start taking control. Okay, let's see what else we got here. CRUS. This is a doji after gapping up after a bearish candle, which means if this is kind of a J-hook pattern, what happens if this opens positive tomorrow? It's going to move in the direction how they open it after a doji. If they move it positive, we basically have a flutter kicker coming out of a J-hook pattern. That tells us there's a high probability we're going higher. And CSTE. CSTE. Big indecision day right here. Long-legged spinning top. I'm pretty sure there's big volume today. Where are we? We closed just almost at, just pennies below the this high trading from way over here. Closed at a high above this close over here. But if this opens positive, what's it telling us? That this is now kind of that fry pan bottom breakout. And MILL, left-right combo. This J-hook type pattern, wouldn't be afraid to be buying this. Notice this downtrending channel. This left-right combo coming up through the T-line tells us, remember, left-right combo is one of your strongest signals. That tells me there's more upside. If there's more upside, that tells me this is confirming a J-hook pattern. Oops. Oh, Pshaw, what do I got here? L, F, X, C. Well, that one's not coming up. We'll go on to the next one. RGR. This is another little flutter kicker, which basically tells me this uptrend is still in progress. If they have enough juice to do a flutter kicker, remember, a kicker anywhere in a trend, whether it's overbought or oversold, doesn't matter, because it's going to be that kicker signals the indication by itself. Are you still in Tazar? Yes, we're still in Tazar. Whoops. Remember, we haven't had a sell signal. We didn't. Now, if this opens lower tomorrow, that basically tells me I'm confirming a sell signal, which is a left-right combo, and I'd be trading back down below the T line, the 3T line. As we can see today, it closed above the 3T line. Now, where is my potential target? Well, if we moved from here, 9 to, let's say 1250, what was the high of this one? 1270. That means if we move from 12, what is that? 370. 370 from here takes us up to 1650 or 1620. That means we still probably should have more upside if wave 1 and wave 3 are equivalent. But if this opens lower tomorrow, probably want to take profits. Where's it going to go to? At least the first target's going to be back to the T line. But right now, there hasn't been anything that would tell me that the sellers are in control. They backed it off a little bit, but they couldn't even get it back below the 3T line. ACRX, another doji setup. We've had a little gap up right here. Let me make this big enough for, I hate to say how colorblind I am, which can be corrected here on the charts by making them bigger. But it's pretty bad when you've got a stop sign that's sitting in the trees. Anyways, we got a kicker signal. We've got a doji sandwich, or a doji sandwich potential. This one can be bought on positive trading tomorrow. What did I just do? Let's see. All right. RDA. RDA, you can see that coming out of that slow curve, what your results were. Now you got that little J-hook pattern. This looks to me like a 45 degree. This one, all you have to do is stay long as it doesn't close below the T line. I'll just do this, but we'll try to do the individual ones later. Dick's Sporting Good, not really. This one is just in an uptrend and stay with it as long as it stays. I wouldn't be buying this one right now because it's not showing me too much. Shows me that probably here's my target and I'm too close to it to make it worthwhile for the trade. So no, I wouldn't be buying Dick's up here. FU. Who would ever want a symbol of FU? But broke out. Now, what's this signal tell us? The buying has stopped. What's this one tell us? The selling has stopped. If this opens positive, it pretty much tells us the profit taking in this uptrend's over. You can be buying this. Hopefully for the expectation of another 4.5 points, taking up into about the 12.5 range. And LIN. These are the type that you like to get your hands on. There's that slow curve. Now you've broken out. Look where you closed, right here at the highs. If they open positive, what's that tell us? It tells us we've got a doji sandwich. And if they open up positive, that doji sandwich is breaking us out through this level. Let me make this now smaller. Which tells me if they break this out, we've got the same magnitude move. Good upside potential. NPSP. Same scenario. There's that slow curve. There's a doji today. They came all the way back down and tested the support level, the T line. Makes this very simple. If they open this positive, they're still going up with it. Notice what happened when it broke out here at a nice 45-degree in progress. And CBK, notice how this is pulled back very indecisively. And once it got right back here, smack dab to the T line, we do a bullish harami, which makes this very simple. If it opens positive tomorrow, you want to be buying. Because if it breaks through this level, you essentially have a J-hook pattern set up, which if this is wave 1, wave 3 could be fairly substantial. We actually bought NPSP down in here somewhere. I think it was right in here, where once it came up, did the J-hook type pattern, and we've held on to it. I say we held on to it. I think Friday options expired on it. So it took some profits on the options, and I didn't get back into any options, only because I had other things to go into. But it was this one, if you own the stock, there's been no reason yet to sell the stock on here. No, Tammy. But if you see something like this and it's still moving positive, you can buy as long as it doesn't show any sell signals and coming back below the T line. So a lot of times, if you see a move like this on the daily chart, probably your 10-minute chart does look like this, where they've popped it up on the open and then they continue to stay long. So there's lots of times I'll be buying on a 10-minute chart in here, which means this chart looks something like this, because I know they've gapped it up, broken it out to a resistance level, and they're still moving higher. As long as they don't come back and close below the T line on the 10-minute chart, that tells me my daily chart is still going to keep moving positive. RMTI. Same chart as Christopher Banks, kind of a little doji type day right here after indecisive pullback. If they open this positive, you want to start buying it because that tells you the T line is going to be holding. And what else we got here? SNCR. This one is just that slow rounding curve, and as long as it fry pan bottom, as long as it stays above the T line, you stay with it. Ronnie, I'll get to all the individual ones when I tell Jim to do the double line, so we're still a few minutes away from that. Okay, now, what we also want to find in these market conditions, and this is what we're going to kind of be going through as far as simple analysis on analyzing the trend tomorrow night for members, is that you always want to kind of observe the obvious, because if it's obvious to you, it's obvious to everybody else. So if we can pretty much draw a trend right through the tops here, and we can also draw a trend right through the bottoms, pretty much parallel, that means everybody else can see this. So the advantage we have is once it got up to this level, we saw the little bearish harami, number one. Number two, if they sold this off, where were they? They were a good distance away from the T line. They could probably be taking it back down to the T line. If they did that, that told us the Dow was moving away from the resistance level, and that it was time time to take some profits. Now what we have to figure out is this still going to stay in this trend channel, or is this going to do a J-hook pattern and come up through the second time and break through the trend channel? Well, obviously we don't know that answer right now. So we don't know whether they're going to take it all the way back down here and test this level, which would look like the 200 kind of coinciding. So that means we should probably be looking for some short positions as well as long positions. But we also don't know whether they're going to turn this right around and do a J-hook pattern, because number one, with the Dow's trading off, we're still not seeing the NASDAQ trade off. So that tells us that we are getting some strength in this market, or lack of selling anyways, with the NASDAQ moving positive. So if the NASDAQ's still in an uptrend and the Dow's trading off, what's that tell us about our overall trend of the market? Really not anything. It just tells us we're kind of just mixing around with different sectors. So fortunately, with candlesticks, we can tell which sectors are going up and which ones are going down. So with the same capabilities, this is what we're kind of looking for. Here's kind of that wedge formation. It was either going to break to the upside. In this case, we can see that it's rolled over. And these are the type of charts that we like to catch, because if we start shorting here, this is where they start pulling the bottom out, and they could go all the way down to this level, at least come back down and test the lows. But as long as it's in a downtrend and the stochastics haven't gotten to the oversold area, it pretty much implies we've still got some more downside. Yeah, a lot of the leading stocks were killed today, but remember, we've had a lot of days where they kill the leading stocks, and then the next day they turn right around and take them back up in this trend. So if we're trying to find things that are also offsetting some of the buying, here's Pandora. What's Pandora got? Bearish Harami Doji with a gap down the next day and a close below the T-line. Where's the likely target now? Probably back down to the support level here near the 50. BCOV. That BCO. Well, I can't. How can you not type 4 letters without getting 6 of them in there? No. Because I'm typing the wrong one. BCOV. Okay. Yes. BCOV. All right. Something's happening here. Okay. That's now working. So we're going to go on to something else. YRCW. Operators and operands out of sequence. What the heck does that mean? Let's do this. All right. Okay. Okay, so what we saw in BCOV, an evening star signal, now it closed below the T line. It could possibly come back down into this area. So right now, I would definitely be looking at some situations where I have as much. What's happening here? Oh, somehow the microphone got put back on. That's just great. All right, so here we've got XONE, one of the in that 3D industry. But notice what it's been doing. When it broke this downtrending channel, had a good downtrend. When did you want to short it? Well, probably right after about here. You didn't want to short it because it was already making its move. But Notice what it did when it bounced back up. Did a dark cloud, told us it was filling the T line. Now it's right back here to the lows. This makes it very simple. If they open this lower, I've got a bearish J hook, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Now I'm not in a situation where I'm shorting it way too far down. This has just now gotten some life in it, and then they're pulling the plug again. I don't know, did the sound go lighter? Mouth closer to the mouth. Okay, how's that? Is that better? All right, and so a few others like BIOS. I try not to short too many of the bios, but this is another pure example of a rollover failure, gap down. Makes this very simple. If they open this one lower tomorrow, you definitely want to be shorting it, because this is already telling you what's happening. Is they lost confidence. Now they're just bailing, pulling the plug. And NTI. Well, for crying out loud, maybe my fingers are just too fat. Another bearish J-hook pattern with a left-right combo closed below the T-line and a gap down makes this one very simple. If they open this lower, that means this downtrend, we're going into wave 3 to the downside. It could be. They could be rotating out of the bios. And there's that, this is DWA, DreamWorks. Notice when it tried to come back up, it failed by getting to a new high. Fry pan bottom broke. So now the fry pan bottom's gone. So what do we have? We've got kind of a star gap down through the T-line. Stochastics heading down. They could be coming all the way back down here into this area, especially to fill this gap. And if they came down this close, they probably would get all the way down to the 200-day moving average. UNXL also has a very bearish-looking chart. As we can see, if you observe the obvious was that it failed up here at the 200, came back down, supported on the 50, but couldn't get up through the 20 and failed the T-line. Now we're right back smack dab on this low. If they start taking this down, there's still this little gap right here. So if this is wave 1, wave 3 should be down into this area someplace. Yeah, head and shoulders type failure on this one. A run had been a good one on the upside, but now same scenario. Looks like it failed at the highs back through the 50, back below the T-line. There's their doji sandwich. After a bearish Harami, we got all the indications that the sellers are taking control. This one could have a nice, strong downtrend. Notice your stochastics are giving you some strength to the downside. LN, how come this one is not working? S.LNGD. S.LGND. There we go. So notice that slow curve. This is what we like to see. Just getting started. If this one opens weaker, there's a good possibility they could take it all the way down here. They're going to probably at least come back down here to this level. And Kong, which was a good one on the upside. KONG, notice what it did. It came back to the T-line very indecisively, but then it failed. It needed to go this way to do a nice J-hook. It failed the T-line. So you've got basically that bearish doji sandwich with the doji opening lower, telling you that the T-line wasn't acting as support anymore. Makes this very simple. If this opens lower tomorrow, you start shorting, and you just use a close above the T line as your stop. Let's see. Do you not pay attention to the upper and lower shadows on each candlestick? Yeah, you pay attention to them if they're producing a signal. But remember, the important aspect of candlesticks is the body itself. That's why the Japanese rice traders enclosed the open and the close, because those were the beginning decision and the final decision. And the final decision is where it ends up, where everybody that was making a decision made their final decision. The rest of it was just noise during the day. So you do pay attention to the shadows, but the most important aspect is what is the candle itself doing, or what is the body doing. Here's another one. This is Vivus. Failed here at the T line. Kind of failed up here, doing kind of almost a kicker type signal, back down below the T line. This one could be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Wave 1, wave 2, looking for wave 3 to the downside. Marco, is this the chart you're looking at? Does it look like a flag? So anyways, right now with the last chart, I forget what the last chart was, Kong. Yeah, that's your kind of your wedge formation, and it broke to the downside. All right, so with this type of market, don't know whether the Dow wants to go up from here or down from here. It looks like it still wants to go down, but your NASDAQ doesn't look like it wants to go down. It still looks like it's heading up. So that pretty much tells me I don't want to be totally long. I don't want to be totally short. I want to have a few short positions on in the portfolio, as well as having a few long positions on in the portfolio. So that's not any sophisticated money management system. That's just common sense, and that's what we're going to go into when we get into the trend analysis tomorrow. Is the most important aspect of investing in the markets is, number one, which way is the market going? Because you probably want to be going with the flow. You're going to get a lot better returns knowing that there's an uptrend and you're buying good, strong buy charts versus knowing there's an uptrend and still buying good, strong selling charts, because they're probably not going to be as rambunctious. But when you get into a market condition where you can't tell which way it's going, the nice thing about candlestick analysis is out of the 7,800 trading entities out there, it only takes 10 minutes to find the best 2 or 3 long positions that you might want to look at tomorrow, and it takes another 10 minutes to find the best 2 or 3 short positions. So you've got a supply of positions ready to go based upon how you see the market opens the next day. And or, if the market doesn't go anywhere, there's still going to be bearish charts that are going to continue bearish, and there's going to be bullish charts that are going to continue bullish. So with that, do we have any general questions about candlesticks? All right, then Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And Jim, do the next double line. All right. Okay, BONT was another one that is now heading south, but it traded positive today, but closed back near the lower end of the trading range. Notice how it's failed here. So essentially, what do we have? We've got a wave 1, slow curve dumpling top, get ready for wave 3. That could be a good hefty move to the downside. And DGIT, same scenario. You're getting that slow curve, but I definitely want to see more evidence. I would probably, if I was shorting this one tomorrow, I'd wait for it to come back down through today's low. QIHU, this one, all you can do is stay long as it doesn't close below the T-line. As we saw, it's taken a attempt, but it's come back up. Just very simply stated, as long as you're closing above the T-line, you're in an uptrend. You see a candlestick sell signal and a close below the T-line. So in this case, if I was long, I'd want to see it open positive tomorrow. If it opens lower tomorrow, doing kind of a doji sandwich to the downside, not holding the T-line, I'd close out the position and wait for the next buy signal, if there is going to be another buy signal. YY, this one I'd be ready to go short on a lower open with the anticipation that they could bring it back down to the 50. This one, if I owned it, I wouldn't own it with it. First of all, we saw a left-right combo. Then we started seeing it sell lower. It needed to trade above the T-line today to stay in it. This one I would definitely be going short on if it opens weaker tomorrow. Same scenario with GameStop. It's back below the T-line, but there's some support evidence right here on the 50. But if this opens lower tomorrow, then you've got that bearish doji sandwich in progress. Same scenario right here. If this opens lower, you probably want to be going short because you've got a bearish doji sandwich setting up. We did XONE. This one, you want to be shorting on weakness tomorrow. Let's see, I thought I had that one. That would be your bearish J-hook. And AVT, what's happened here? You are protected. All right, that's good to know. AVT closed just below the T-line today. At this point, if this opens lower, you close it out immediately. If it just waffles in here tomorrow, I would still close it out and just put a buy stop up here at 41.70. Because if it comes up through that level, then it's bounced into the next stage. But right now, it's not showing us. Yeah, Denny, if this does open lower tomorrow, yes, you can go short on it. Same scenario on this one. There's your doji sandwich potential. If it opens lower, it's not holding the 50. It's trading lower after coming down through the T-line. Potential coming all the way down to the 200. And DMND, this one I wouldn't be long. And you could possibly be going short on it. Just obviously watch what happens when it gets to the 200. I'm sorry, to the 50. ACN, another one that if it opens lower tomorrow, it's coming back down into the moving averages. COF, I wouldn't be long or short. As you can see, there's a wedge setting up here. So it's going to be squeezed here, doing nothing probably for the next few weeks. MNKD. Eesh. Was this a buyout? I wouldn't be long or short. But I would put a buy stop right here that if it came up through there, they've finally broken out of this flat doji trading. And HSOL, another one that I wouldn't be long or short. Again, a wedge formation setting up, just not a very exciting chart. And TIBX, this one needed to open positive. Now, it can still possibly open positive. It's gapped up, so you've got profit taking. But for the amount of profit taking, it's still not very showing very much exuberance. Hang on for 1 second. Need a 30-second timeout. Hold on. 5 more seconds. Hold on. Well, sorry about that. Had a cord stuck in the bottom of the chair here, and it was beating me. Okay. No, I was had a getting cold up here. I still had a window open. Okay. Whoops, I'm trying to get to where I was before. All right. That was TIBX. Apple started out nice, came backed off right here to smack dab to the 20 and came back up. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading, especially if they break through this little downtrending resistance level. Louder. All right. And LNG. This one needs to open positive to stay in it. If it opens lower, it's coming back to the 50. Remember, anytime they do this, where they show the bulls are trying to take control, if they open it lower the next day, the bears are still in control, and everybody can see that. They start bailing out some more. Halliburton, you can be shorting this one on weakness. ONVO. This one you can get ready to buy on a positive open, especially with today coming back down to test the T-line and showing that it was holding. Adobe moving flat is probably waiting for the T-line to catch up. So this one, if it trades flat tomorrow, I'd close out the position and just wait for the next buy signal, telling us that they've moved up into the new territory. Ruckus did an evening star signal. It should have been closed out today, or at least half your position closed out, but you can observe the obvious. The obvious is at the 200, they're pulling back. But now we have to see whether they just pulled back to the T-line to do a T-line crunch and take it back up. PGH, whoops, S-stud, PGH. Nothing wrong here in the sense that this is a 10% dividend yield. You can hang on to this as long as this one stays right here, trading flat, which would be anticipating that the 50 is going to catch up and be the support. Groupon. This one did a gap down, but not a signal. But it needs to open positive to stay in it tomorrow. If it opens lower, you can always buy it back on the next buy signal. ACAD, all you can do here is stay long. As long as it stays even above the 3T line, you're all right. DANG got a little bit sloggy today. It needs to open positive and trade positive to stay in this little slow uptrend. If it opens lower tomorrow, probably want to close out the position and wait for something better. It's probably in an uptrend, but it's not very enthusiastic right now. You need to see something where the enthusiasm comes back into this one. PAMT, another one that has to open higher and trade higher. Just nothing has, you had the potential of this one taking you back up above the T line, which was good, but then they closed it right back below the T line. So if it's closing below the T line, you just still have to assume the pressure is still to the downside. RESI, not found. Am I reading this wrong? S.RESI. This one, I would rather buy it breaking out through this resistance level. It's junky. You're still in the junky stage. HC or ACHC. Also, I would rather be buying this one on a breaking out through the upside. This one, if it opens lower, it's probably just going to come back here to the 50. This one, I wouldn't be trading at all. Just it lost its enthusiasm once it didn't break out through the fry pan bottom. REE, this one you could be buying on positive trading. There's a little fry pan bottom, wave 1, a wedge type J hook. Now you're in wave 3. And BCRX, stay long as this stays above the T line. Now, again, the T line is a very good indicator for an uptrend. And as you can see, some of these, even though they backed off yesterday, they didn't reverse. They didn't do a reversal signal, even though the market was, say, not tomorrow or yesterday, but on Friday. So as long as they stay above the T line, you stay with it. I know DDD was on CNBC tonight, and they're still projecting that their targets are going to be where they project that we'll projected them already. And Legend again can be shorted on weakness. U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel just isn't having a real good time getting out of its own way. It did have a 10% move, but it came out of this sideways motion. You stay long on this as long as it stays above the T line. And DEC. DEC, you can stay long if you like DEC. However, you can see what the trajectory is, and there isn't anything yet telling us there's any reason. I would be more apt to buy it on a strong signal that broke out through the top of the trend channel. But as of right now, there's nothing here to get real excited about either. TQNT. That's not what you want to see at the end of a fry pan bottom. If I was looking to buy this right now, it would have to come back up through this open, because what do we expect coming out of a fry pan bottom? A strong price move. Well, when they open it and take it back down, that's telling you that price move is not working. Tesla gave back a little bit today, but nothing that would tell you that the uptrend is over. Once again, you stay long on this as long as it stays above the T line. That's just a good looking chart. Just wish we'd bought some calls on it 6 months ago. TCLN, another one where you just stay long as it stays above the T line. Ford gap down below the T line, but still above the 50. So if this opens lower and you're trading it, meaning short term, close out the position. If you're holding it long term, you don't want to really see it come back below. Don't want to see it come back below the 50, but more apt to not see it come back below this down, or this is the bottom of the trend channel. And Goodyear, this one you have to stay long as it stays above the T line, but this makes it very simple. It's going to move tomorrow in the direction of how they open this one. And USO, that's trading off just like the oil. IPI. I would suspect this one's going to be coming back to test the T-line, but do a J-hook pattern. That if it bounces off the T-line, it's probably heading back up to the 200-day moving average. This one, all you can do is stay long, but once again, a little doji spinning top right now on the T-line. It's going to move in the direction of how they open it. I don't think we get WF. No, we don't get it on these charts. FBC. This one, if it opens lower tomorrow, you can be shorting it. The bearish J-hook pattern. And GTXI. Stay long as it stays above the T-line. Not very exciting, though, but you stay long. And HTCH. IWSY. That's not coming up. Omar. This one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow with possibility of it heading higher and or a 45 degree coming off of here. Free is a nice fry pan bottom. I would stay long on this as long as it stays above the 3T as well as the T line. GNW, get ready to short this one on any weakness tomorrow. That's that slow rollover, and notice how it failed right smack dab at the 50. Makes the 200 the next potential target. Oh, okay, you were already ahead of me. Yes, both of those are shorts. This one's a short also on weakness. Tazar, stay long. CVC, this one you get ready to short on any weakness tomorrow. It will be coming back down to the 200. There's your wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. You ever see the 20 moving average as supporting or resistance? Rarely, Don. But you keep it on there because it does affect it enough that that you are going to see some support and resistance at those. Not a majority of the time, but enough times to make it still worthwhile to keep that on your chart. And more importantly, not so much that you see support and resistance, that if you see a hammer signal that just touches the 20 and bounces back up, at least you know that the hammer signal is telling you there was a reversal, and the 20-day moving average was telling you, yes, that's why it was reversing, because they hit the 20. Not that you were looking at it to go to the 20 and reverse. It was the other way around. You saw it reverse, and it reversed at the 20, so that was the reason why it reversed at that level. CLG, yeah, if you're going to go short, I wouldn't bother shorting this one. I wouldn't go long. I'd rather pay 155 knowing that it broke out to the upside. SanDisk, this one has to open positive and trade positive tomorrow to stay in it. If it opens lower, it's coming back down to test the 50. MDLZ. MDLZ, if this opens lower tomorrow, you short it. That's your double top. And Costco, another one that you can short. Notice how it's kind of failing here, all on the same level. If this opens lower tomorrow, now it looks like it tried to trade higher today, but that wasn't any reversal signal. I was just telling you after they opened it lower, they traded up a little bit. If it opens lower tomorrow, you definitely short it. And PSEC, Doji sandwich setup. You can short this one on weakness. Let's see, we did Costco, we did PC, we did that. And ISIS we did early. That one you just hang on to as long. Now I wouldn't buy it here. The buy was here or the buy was here. Now you just hold it until you see a sell signal. GLD, still in a downtrend. AGN. This one needs to break out. Didn't do anything devastating, but if I was looking to buy this, I would do it above these levels, knowing that it broke out to the top side. If it pulls back, look for your little cup and handle. And what else we got here? ACN. Whoops. S.ACN. This one, if it opens weaker tomorrow, you can short it. It's coming back down to the 200 to the 50. AFN. Another bearish signal that if it opens weaker tomorrow, you've got a bearish J hook in progress. VXX, yes, that VXX. This one, if you're buying, has to close up above the T line, but you're still in a downtrending channel. It not only has to get through the T line, but it also has to get through the 50 very quickly. USU, you want to be buying this one because it's starting to bottom out, number one, and number two, if it starts moving, the percentage move is going to be fairly substantial. Left-right combo. This might be just barely a left-right combo. A left-right combo is a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal. That wasn't quite a bullish engulfing signal. But it's a doji followed by a bullish engulfing or a doji followed by a bearish engulfing to the bearish side. USPN. There's your doji sandwich setup, but still not a real exciting chart unless looking at, it looks like a big fry pan bottom. Yes, you could be buying this one. A little slow curve here, doji sandwich. Yeah, you could get a pop out of this one. INO. This one you want to be out of. It needed to, you should have been out of this one Friday. Because you can see where it was starting to curve back down and then close below the T line. That told you the bears weren't, or the bulls weren't there anymore. GMCR, you can be shorting. LITB. This one, you want to be buying on positive trading tomorrow. It needs to stay above the T-line to stay in it. Orex. I wouldn't be buying this one. I probably wouldn't be shorting it. I wouldn't be buying it either. You don't want to be in this one. It's downtrend. SQNS. This one has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. HIMX, still stronger than Bear's Breath. Well, not quite as strong. Yes, Friday it was. And notice what it did Friday. The Dow was down 185 points on Friday, and this was still moving positive. So there was your J-hook in action. Stay long as this stays above the T-line, especially above the 3T line. Q-Core, a doji sandwich in progress. If this opens lower tomorrow, you start shorting it immediately. JERN, stay long until you see a sell signal. This was a perfect example of you needed to see a sell signal and to close below the T-line. Rite Aid, stay long on this one. You probably have a 45-degree now coming off of here. And Yelp. Yelp, get ready to short this one if it opens weaker, but just be nimble because, as you can see, you're in an uptrend until they really break that uptrending channel. You want to stay you're predominantly long with shorting the pullbacks. Any of the current buys right now, I wouldn't be too afraid to be buy. If this one opens positive, be holding this longer term, meaning longer term over the next 2 or 3 months, it could possibly get back up to the highs. And I will be getting the long-term picks out. Unfortunately, right now we're in the middle of this getting the Houston houses packed up. I'll be back in Houston tomorrow night, getting everything packed up. I got to figure out how to get 5 cars from down there to up here. I've got quite a few hundred boxes of books, fun things like that. And then about 15 to 20 Victrolas that have to come up. GRPN. Yeah, there is a little kicker signal, but as you can see, that you want to see more confirmation than that. It's not a big kicker signal. It's just kind of a little kicker signal, which tells you if they do open this lower, you want to be going short, at least one of the moving averages. But it definitely has to get down below the T-line. Is there a link to sign? For the trend analysis, more than likely you'll all be in here and you'll know what the password is, so you won't need the link. Oh, I'll have to see if there's something that she's going to do special for people that sit and watch it. DDD looked like it was trading a little bit positive after hours, but I don't know. It could still have another move like this. You're still coming out. Let me make this small enough where we can see what we're looking at here. Yeah, we could have a breakout for another 10, 12 points to the upside. No, Sugar Bear, because up until now, we really haven't had anything in the markets that would really show anything aggressive. Now, I was shorting over here, but for the last 2 or 3 weeks, we haven't had anything that would tell us that there's time to be short. This is telling us it's time to be short because you can observe the obvious, which is this trend channel, top, bottom, top, possibly taking it down to the bottom. A 45 degree is after that first initial strong price move, then they take it up steady Eddie after that. Yelp, did I miss Yelp? Yelp, you can be shorting this because of the evening star signal if it opens weaker tomorrow. But you just have to watch to see where it could come to. Probably the 20 would be your first target because that would be in line with this uptrending channel. Let me get to... Oh, Diane, yeah, all my fraternity buddies were saying that they would be glad to drive, and I'm thinking, who would want to drive an old car for 24 hours? So I'm just going to stick them all on a truck. Semi-permanently, my right now, as long as my mother needs some extra care, I'll probably stay up in this area for a while to get her straightened out. Did I cover Omar? I thought so. Yeah, this one you want to buy. Oh, this one is a 45 degree. Once you have a big move like this, then you could go out 45 degrees. I'm trying to think of which ones, NPSP. NPSP had a big move, and then it went 45 degrees from there. Yeah, so this is what we will be doing in our longer term picks area, is that if the chart looks good, as far as a reversal on a company that might have good prospects for the future, then we will start adding, and that will be everybody's responsibility. If they see information on different research reports, we'll start adding as much information as we can to that recommendation page, so that if we're recommending XYZ, you can see all the different research reports that are being done on it, and articles and things that tell you why this might be a good long term. Now, we're not going to be saying you want to buy this as a long term. We're going to be suggesting that you might look at this, and this is where everybody should do their own little, see the chart and say, all right, it looks like it's time to buy on the chart basis, but for a long term, let me do some more research and see what the prospects are for the future. We are using everything possible for my mother's joints. We got acupuncture. We've got aloe creams. Whatever those patches are. Got the acupuncture. We're going to come in a few more times. Now, today she seemed a little bit better, but there's days where she just gets up and she has to cry for the first 45 minutes because the pain is so bad. And then she's all right after that. So, anyways, all right. With that, everybody have a good evening, and we will see you in the chat rooms tomorrow. Oh, I'll see you probably only for a few minutes in the chat room tomorrow. Then I'm on the plane heading back, and I should be back relatively close to the close. All right, we'll see you all then.